Hi friend, welcome to the live study channel. So today I'm going to discuss multi-threading interview question and answer for experienced person and candidate or student. So let's start. My first question is swing thread safe? What do you mean by swing thread safe? So answer is no. So why? Swing is not a thread safe, but you have to explain what you mean by that even if the interviewer does not ask about it. When we say swing is not a thread shape, we usually refer it component which cannot be modified in multiple thread. All update to CUI components has to be done on AWT thread, and swing provided synchronizes and asynchronizes callback method to schedule such update. Okay, move to the another question is, what is the difference between invoke and wait and invoke later in Java? There are two methods. Swing API provides Java developer for updating GUI component from thread. Other event dispatcher threads invoke and wait synchronization update GUI component. For example, a progress bar. When progress is made, the bar should also be updated to reflect that change. If progress is tracked in a different thread, it has to call invoke and wait to schedule an update of that thread component by event dispatcher threads. On another hand, invoke later is an synchronized call to update component. Another question is how to create immutable object in a Java. The multi-threading and concurrency, but it is a mutability help to simplify already complex concurrent code in Java, since immutable object can be shared without any synchronization. It is very dear to Java developer. Core value object which is meant to be shared among the threads so should be immutable for performance and simplicity. Unfortunately, there is no immutable annotation in Java which can make your object immutable. Hard work must be done by Java developer. You need to keep basis like initializing state in constructor, no setter method, and no linking of reference, keeping separate copy of mutable object to create immutable object. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is read write lock in Java? Very most important question. In a general, read write lock is the thread. A lock is the result of lock strapping technique to improve the performance of concurrent applications in Java. Read write lock is an interface which was added in a Java 5 release. A read write lock maintains a pair of associated lock, one for read only operation and one for writing. The read lock may be held simultaneously by multiple reader threads so long as there are no writers. The write lock is exclusive. If you want, you can implement this interface with your own set of rules. Otherwise, you can use Retrent read write locker, which come along with JDK and support a maximum of 565 recursive write lock and 5535 read lock. Okay, move to the another question. Another question is, what is PG spin in multi-threading? Very most important question. By spanning technique, concurrent programmer employ to make a thread wait on certain condition, unlike traditional method, for example wait, sleep and add method, which all invoke relinquishing CPU control. This method does not relieving CPU in need it the just run employee loop. Why should someone do what to preserve CPU caches in a multi-core system? It is progressive for a push thread to resume on a different core, which means rebuilding cache again to avoid cost of rebuilding caches. Programmer prefer to wait for much smaller time doing by span. Another question is, what is difference between the volatile and atomic variable in Java? The first, volatile and atomic variable look very simple, but they are different. Volatile variable provide you happen before guarantee that a write will happen before any subsequent write. It does not guarantee atomicity. For example, count plus plus operation will not become atomic just by declaring count variable as a volatile. On the other hand, atomic integer class provide atomic method to perform such component operation automatically. For example, get and increment method is atomic replacement of increment operator. It can be used to atomically increase concurrent value by 1. Similarly, you have atomic version for other data type and reference variable as well. Another question is, what happens if a thread throw an exception inside synchronized block? If we can bringing the fact about whether lock is released or not is a key indicator of this understanding. To answer this question, no matter how you exit synchronized block, either normally by finishing execution or repeated by throwing exception, thread release the lock it acquired while entering that synchronized block. This is actually one of the reason I like synchronized block over lock interface, which require explicit attention to release lock. Generally, this is achieved by releasing the lock in a finally block. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is the double checked locking of Singleton? Very most important question. The deposit it is popularity chance of candidate answering this question satisfactory is only 50%. Half of the time they fail to write code for double checked locking, and half of the time they failed how it was the broken and fixed on Java 1.5. This is actually an odd way of the creating thread safe singleton, which try to optimize performance by only locking when singleton instance is created first time. But because of complexity and the fact it was broken for JDK 1.4, I personally doesn't like it anyway. Even if you want to prefer this approach, it's good to know from the interviewer point of view. Okay, move to the another question. Another question is how to create thread safe singleton in a Java. Thread scheduler is the operating system service that allocate the CPU time to the available runnable threads. Once we create and start a thread, its execute depends on the implementation of thread scheduler. Time slicing is the process to divide the available CPU time to the available runnable threads. Allocation of CPU time to threads can be based on thread priority or the threads waiting for longer time will get more priority in getting CPU time. The thread scheduling can't be controlled by Java, so it is always better to control it from application itself. Another question is how to create thread safe singleton in Java. If you say you don't like double checkers looking, then interviewer is bound to ask about alternative way of creating thread singleton class. There are actually mean you can take advantage of class loading and a static variable initialization feature of JVM to create instance of a singleton, or you can leverage powerful enumeration type in Java to create a singleton. Another very most important question is can you create singleton class without private method? Without private, the question answer is yes. You can create singleton without private keywords. The private keywords is a keyword used in the enum. Okay, move to the another question. Another question is list down three multi-threading best practical you follow. Okay, first, always give meaningful name to your threads. This goes a long way to find a bug or trace and execution in concurrent code, order processor, quota processor, thread processor is much better than threads 1, thread 2 and thread 3. The name should say that about done by the threads. Avoid locking or reduce scope of synchronization. Locking is a costly and context switching is a very costlier. Try to avoid synchronization and locking as much as possible. That a bare minimum you should reduce critical session. That is why I prefer synchronized block over synchronized method, because it is give you absolute control on the scope of locking. Prefer synchronizer over wait and notify. Synchronizer like countdown, latch, semaphore, cyclic barrier, or exchanger simplify coding. It is very difficult to implement complex controller flow rights using wait and notify. Secondly, these classes are written and maintained by West in the business, and there is good chance that they are optimized or replaced by better performance code is super sequence a JDK released by using higher level synchronization utilities. You automatically get all these benefits. 4 point is refer concurrent collection over synchronized collection. This is another simple best practice which is easy to follow but reap good benefits. Concurrent collection are more scalable than their synchronized counterpart. That is why it is better to use them while writing concurrent code. Another question is what is the fork join framework in Java? Fork the fork join framework introduced in Java JDK 7 is a powerful tool available to Java developer. Takes advantage of multiple of modern day server. It is designed for work that can be broken into smaller pieces recursively. The goal is to use all the available processing power to enhance the performance of your applications. One significant advantage of the fork join framework is that it uses a work styling a long algorithm worker threads that can run out of things to be done thread task from other threads that are still busy. Sorry. Another question is what is the difference between calling wait method and sleep method in Java in a multi-threading? Through both wait and sleep method introduce some form of push in Java application. They are tool for different needs. Wait method used for inter-thread communication. It is line quest lock if waiting for a condition is true, and wait for notification when due to an action of another thread waiting a condition. Because fails. On other hand, sleep method is just to really queue CPU on stop execution of current thread for specifying time duration. Calling sleep method does not release the lock held by the concurrent thread. Another question is, what is the use of synchronized keywords and what is the difference between synchronized and volatile keywords? The synchronized keyword used to when the purpose is to run only one thread at a time in an appropriate session of code. It can be used to show four types of different block as below: instance method, static method, instance method, static method, code blocking inside instance method, code blocking inside static method. It can be to declare as a public synchronized void example method. Okay, the difference between volatile and synchronized keyword is to that synchronized can be used with the variable and method, while volatile cannot be used with the method. Volatile variable are not stored in the cache memory. Synchronized variable are stored in a cache memory. A volatile variable will never land up in deadlock as it is and it does not require to obtain any lock, while in synchronized variable, if they are not done properly, then it may be end up in the deadlock. Another question is, what is difference between class load and object lock? Means again I am repeating, what is difference between class lock and object lock? Thread can acquire object lock by entering a synchronized method. Thread can acquire lock on class object by entering the static synchronized method. Multiple object of class may be exist and even object has its own lock. In class lock, multiple object of thread may be exist, but there is always one class object lock available. Another question is, can you find whether thread hold lock on an object or not? Hold lock object method can be used to determine whether current thread hold the lock on monitor of the specified object. The method hold lock object return true if the thread hold lock or monitor of the specified object. Another question is, what is atomic operation? What are atomic class in Java Concurrency APIs? Atomic operations are performed in a single unit of task without interference from other operations. Atomic operations are necessity in multi-threaded environment to avoid data inconsistency. Int plus plus increment is not an atomic operation, so the time of thread read its value and increment it by 1. Another thread has read the older value, leading to the wrong result. To solve this issue, we will have to make sure that increment operation on current is atomic. We can do that using synchronization, but Java 5 java.util.concurrent atomic provided wrapper class for int and long that can be used to achieve this atomically without the usage of synchronization. Another question is, what is lock interface in Java Concurrency API? What are its benefits over synchronization? Lock interface provide more extensive locking operation than can be obtained using synchronized method and statement. They allow more flexible structuring, may have queued different property and may support multiple associated condition objects. The advantage of of a lock are it is possible to make them fair. It is possible to make thread responsive to interruption while waiting on a lock object. It is possible to try to acquire the lock but return immediately or after a timeout if the lock cannot be acquired. It is possible to acquire and release lock in different scope and in a different order. Another question is, what is some of the improvement in concurrence API in Java 8? Some important concurrent API enhancement are concurrent hash map, compute method, for each entry method, for each key method, for each value method, merge method, reduce method, search method, com- completable feature that may be explicit complete setting it value and status, executor new work styling pool method to create a work styling thread pool using all available processor as it is target parallelism level. Thank you thank you s- thank thank you for valuable response. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe this video your friend and your reputed issue